Recently, when the total eclipse of the sun occurred, um, some of you might have become aware that animal behavior changed. Here are some examples of how celestial activity and the body mind connection may be operating. So let's look at some examples. The first one is nocturnal behavior. Many animals exhibit behaviors typical of nighttime routines. This includes seeking shelter, roosting, huddling together like flamingos, and decreasing vocalizations. Also, in some cases, there's increased alertness and confusion. Some animals display signs of agitation. You might have seen giraffes running around in zoos. Some increase their pacing or utter unusual vocalizations that could be interpreted as confusion or disorientation. In rare cases, animals have even been observed engaging in mating behaviors during the sudden darkness, as with the Galapagos tortoises. So, what are the mechanisms? Well, the first mechanism could be circadian rhythm disruption. Animals possess internal biological clocks that are called circadian rhythms that are heavily influenced by light and dark cycles. The sudden, unexpected darkness of an eclipse can throw this rhythm out of balance, prompting behaviors usually linked to the nighttime. Also, there may be hormonal changes. So it's well known that in some cases, hormone melatonin plays a role in regulating sleep wake cycles, not only in some cases, in all cases. A solar eclipse may trigger shifts in melatonin production that resemble, in a way, nighttime or nocturnal patterns of sleepiness or behaviors. Then there's magnetic field sensitivity. So we know that we are part of the electromagnetic field. And some animals, like birds, for example, are attuned to the Earth's magnetic fields, and they use them for navigation. But it's theorized that changes in light levels might temporarily disrupt their magnetic sense, causing confusion or disorientation. Also, there are natural instinct and heightened senses that have heightened senses that can get even more heightened. The sudden darkness and changes in temperature during an eclipse might simply trigger instinctive survival responses, causing alertness and adjustments in behavior. So, of course, one wonders that the change in behavior, of course, affects both the body and mind. It has to. The body and mind are inseparable. So, of course, it's also known that some animals are influenced in a different way than others, depending on whether they're marine animals or land animals or animals that navigate their experience of the world in the biosphere, in the atmosphere. So, an animal's reaction to an eclipse could be influenced by factors like its natural habits, personality, and the presence of humans. And of course, these days, in the environment of the zoos as well, unfortunately. While solar eclipses provide a dramatic example, it's worth considering that celestial events uh, are affecting our biology in possibly more subtle ways. Our moods, think of how phases of the moon can influence sleep patterns, or the way seasonal changes in daylight can affect our moods. Now, let's go a little deeper into this because we have in our body certain rhythms called circadian rhythms, seasonal rhythms, gravitational rhythms, and even lunar rhythms. So let's see how these affect our biology and the biology of animals. The circadian rhythm is our internal body clock, roughly aligned to a 24-hour cycle that governs sleep wake patterns, hormone release, body temperature, and many other physiological processes. Disruptions to our circadian rhythm, like jet lag or shift work, can cause sleep disturbances, mood changes, digestive issues, and increased risk of chronic diseases. In animals, the circadian rhythm dictates when they hunt, when they mate, when they hibernate or migrate. So, too, there are seasonal cycles, changes in daylight, temperature, and food availability across the year. The human impact is also there in us with the seasons. The seasons influence our moods. Think of seasonal affective disorder, which occurs in the winter, and vitamin D production that is dependent on sunlight exposure, and potentially some aspects of the immune system. A major driver of many biological functions in animals also is the seasonal rhythm. It triggers hibernation in some animals, breeding seasons in others, and changes in fur feather density. What about lunar cycles? The roughly 29.5-day cycle of the moon's phase, the lunar cycle, affects its brightness and gravitational pull it exerts, the gravitational pull of the moon. The science on humans is now emerging, but there are links to sleep patterns, menstrual cycles, mood behaviors, and other changes also in humans. So, where am I going with this? I'm going with this in a deeper way, connecting celestial cycles to the mind body interaction in ourselves and in nature and in plants and in animals. It seems to be all connected, right? So let's examine some more gravitational cycles. Besides the familiar pull of the Earth's gravity, we are subtly governed by gravitational forces, and these forces create tides in the ocean and much smaller effects within our own bodies because 70% of our body is water. Direct effects of the body are there even through the gravitational cycles. Now, let's go a little deeper and see if these rhythms, circadian, seasonal, gravitational, lunar, since they affect so many functions in our body, they also affect networks of genes and proteins, and they also actually influence our moods, our emotions, and ultimately, therefore, our relationships. Let's go a little deeper. What about quantum mechanics? These phenomena occur primarily at the subatomic level, and if all these rhythms are correlated with each other in our biology, in our ecosystem of relationships, then could they be a result of quantum entanglement or non-local correlations at a very deep level in our biology? Bottom line, the universe dances to its own music, and that music is playing itself in our biology, in our brain, in our mind, in our emotions, in our relationships, in our social interactions, in our genetic activity, and even in the landscape of the brain that is governed by genetic activity. Who are we? We are the universe in ecstatic motion. This amazing cosmic dance is being played out in every cell of your body, and it affects everything that you do. If we go back to the source of all experience, because these cosmic cycles are regularities of experience in our biology, but if we go to the source of experience, that fundamental, non-local, irreducible, spaceless, timeless, infinite, borderless being, then we are automatically holy, all inclusive, and we are healed. How fascinating is this? Let me know your response.